Hey everybody, welcome back to another Nature's Always Right episode with Stephen Cornett. And today I just wanted to give you a big homestead update, tell you what I've been up to recently, and also tell you about my spring plans for planting as well as new animals. So recently we've had some really big storms and a lot of rain, and we actually have another 7-day rainstorm coming up. So I've been doing a lot of just observing on my property where all the rain's going, and I'll show you some pictures and video just of what happened in the front field. I had water out there up to my calves, and just a huge area, but it allowed me to see what parts of the field have really bad water infiltration, and the plan is to do a cover crop out there this year, and then maybe some animal grazing later on in the year. But I really just decided that this front field for now, I'm gonna leave it as a long-term project, and you really need to build up the soil out here. It's been hayed for years and years. No soil fertility has really been going on at all. So I really need to do some work on this so that the water will actually go into the ground and soak up and stay there. And it also tells me I really do want to build some ponds here, get some more biodiversity going and all that good stuff. So the other thing that I've been up to the last few days, I have been learning how to butcher hogs with my new friend's forest fed farm. And we've been going through the whole process. We did, let's see, 4 different pigs, and we went through the entire process, shooting the animal, skinning the animal, eviscerating, and then butchering into your bacon, your pork chops, ribs, all the different cuts of meat, and just going through the entire process, which was really awesome. And up until this point I've just learned chicken and rabbits, but now I've added pig to my new skill set, and I'm still going to need to do it a few more times to really get it down. And it's just such a much larger animal, it's more complicated. And my big announcement is that I'm going to be getting 3 pigs from Charles Mayfield of Mayfield Pastures, my friend that I recently did a tour video with. If you haven't seen it, you can go check out his operation there. It's grass-fed beef, chicken, and pig. So I will be utilizing pigs in my woods here, and I'm actually clearing a bunch of the woods right now. I've been working real hard to move everything out of the way. I just ordered all my hot fence from Premier One, and all the different things I'm going to need for that, and I will be picking them, or Charles is going to come drop them off here as soon as I set up my little paddock. So I'm really excited to be showing you guys that really soon here. I'm going to start building a mobile coop. I decided recently that it just doesn't make sense to build a coop like I had previously in Lemon Grove in San Diego, because I'm not in a small backyard anymore, and I don't really need to contain the chickens in a coop. So I can build a much cheaper and mobile coop that I can move anywhere. I can do broilers in it, I can do egg layers in it. I'm going to start with egg layers, but I do want to get some broilers later on in the year to raise for meat as well. So I will be building that, putting that up in the upper garden area. I really just want the chickens to be able to forage along that grass forest edge there, and eat up ticks and all the good stuff that they want to eat. At this point, I'm not going to build another permanent coop. Maybe in the future I will want to set that up, but I think it just makes much more sense for me to utilize chickens in a way that they'll get a much more full diet, and they will really do a lot of work for me in different areas. I can utilize them in certain parts of the garden and all sorts of fun things, because I can use the electric netting to contain them or put them in certain areas, or just let them free range. Since I just got back from butchering hogs, they actually gave me all the entrails, so like the intestines, the stomach, and we are going to be throwing that into the compost pile here. I actually put one of the pigs, the leftovers, into a bokashi bucket. So I'm going to be fermenting that and using it at a later date. But right now I've got a really big hay and rabbit manure pile ready to go. So here we are in my barn, and let me just show you the compost piles. So this one you've probably seen from my videos. This one is basically complete. We could use it, but that's going to be ready for our spring gardens. This bay is where I'm going to have the new loads of compost or bedding going to start the 3rd pile. That's where the pig is that's fermenting right now. This is my brand new pile, and you can see I've dug out around here so that I can fit the guts and everything in there, and then I'll pile up all the hay and stuff on top of that, and completely cover it and get it moist, of course. And then this is going to be a crazy rich compost pile. I wish I had a little bit more carbon, honestly, because this has so much manure in it that this is going to be a real hot pile with guts in there. I put one bokashi bucket in there as well, so this is going to be a real nice pile that'll be ready sometime in the summer. So now this is watering. We'll let it go for 20-30 minutes. We'll head up to the upper part of the property and we'll talk pigs, mushrooms, and spring garden. So for the spring garden, I'm going to be starting all my seedlings in this cheap little greenhouse. My tree guy actually gave them to me, so thank you, Thomas. He had this laying around, and so I'll be planting seeds probably tomorrow or the next day. We had a bunch of cold temps, but now today was in the 70s, so spring is starting to click on here, and it's time to plant seeds. I was waiting a little bit just because our trees in the front still aren't completely done, and I don't want to start building boxes until that point, but we'll be planting all sorts of spring, summer, and fall crops, all that good stuff, so they're ready to go once my garden box are built. So here we have about 36 cubic yards of mushroom compost, and I'll be putting this not only in raised beds but also in soil beds, just like I did for my market garden. And I will be building my raised beds out of wood, probably be about 18 inches high, so a little taller. And in that bottom layer, I'm not going to fill them all the way up with soil, that would be too expensive, but what I do have is a resource of tons of tree limbs that I've cut down over the last couple months, and I'm going to be putting those at the bottom to break down over a long period of time. We'll feed the soil, and we'll take up space down there, and it also actually it makes it harder for a gopher or something like that to break up into the bed. So there's just tons of benefits to doing that, and it's, you know, like a hugelkultur kind of adaptation. So then on top of that, I'll be putting my leftover mushroom logs that I got, and then on top of that will be the mushroom compost, and then on top of that will be my super compost that I made recently. That is super fertile. That'll go on top, and then transplants or direct seeds into that. So that is my plan for the spring garden, and cannot wait to start growing crops again. It's been way too long since I have planted stuff. So here's one of my mini piles of tree limbs that I will be inoculating mushroom spawn into. And these are going to provide me with a whole bunch of different types of mushrooms. We're going to do shiitake, maitake. We'll try a bunch of other ones as well. So I'm really excited to get going on this project. I'm just such a big fan of mushrooms. It's such a great food source. And when you inoculate logs like this, they'll produce for you for years. And it's just a very low maintenance and high output little operation here. There's just so many different things that I can do now out here to try, and I want to experiment and find out what I really like to do the best, whether it be vegetables or animals or mushrooms or any other number of different farming operations that I could do. So behind me are the first paddocks that I have set up for my pigs. There was an immense amount of trees and saplings and all sorts of things in here that I needed to cut down and just open up these woods, let in more light, and have the ability for the pigs to move around here freely, and that I could set up a electric fence in here as well. So I'll be getting into pig raising now, using electric fence, a lot of new fun skills that I've just been dreaming about doing, and now I can do them. So these pigs are obviously going to provide incredible meat. If you haven't tried forest raised or pasture raised pigs, I mean, it's just nothing like you can get. The stuff at the store is just poison, honestly. They say that pork is the other white meat. Well, no, pork is supposed to be red meat, actually, if you see a healthy pig that's raised in a natural way. And when you chew into that fat, you don't chew it, it basically melts in your mouth. And I think most people are just used to, of course, the gristly, disgusting fat, whether that's on a cow or a pig. But when you've raised properly raised animals, it's incredibly nutritious, incredibly good for you, and you can eat so much more of the animal, and that fat is just really vital, really good stuff for you. So I'm really excited to start raising my own meat and using those pigs as a tool, because they have that snout that's a really good, essentially like tilling tool, and the top layer of soil. You know, they will knock down saplings and help me manage this forest in a much better way, as well as providing their manure and urine to fertilize and keep these trees going really well. So I will be doing in the future probably some sort of cover cropping under here. Now that I'm letting in a lot more light, there may even be some more thinning I want to do in the future, but I want to start doing some perennial grasses in here, or different multi-sown cover crops as well. That'll provide more fertility and diversity for the woods out here, as well as the animals, so I could put pigs or chickens or even cows are possible to run through here as well, setting up more of like a silvopasture style setup. So really excited to get into more of this stuff that I've been reading about and watching videos about for so many years, and now I can finally get to do it myself. So here's an example of what it looks like before I actually clear it out, so you can just see how thick it is and how much there is to clear up. So behind me here you can kind of see some of what I've been doing. You can see all the different trees that I've had to cut down, saplings, and I've basically built a natural fence so that it's an easy place for me to run the electric fence, and it'll be a nice little wildlife area. So it's been a little bit of work getting my first paddock set up, but this forest has never been thinned out very well ever. So it's been fun opening it up, getting even better at the chainsaw, and really just continuing to teach myself all these different skills and things I'm going to need for the future on this land.